Good evening and welcome to episode 118 of the Chess After Show, our Waldo Customs / Christmas special, though we're not actually doing anything Christmassy for it because, haven't planned anything. It's just the fact it's Christmas, grab a drink, sit down, chill out. Keith's just made a fresh one.
Top 10 the drinks.
What's everyone drinking for the Christmas special?
Southern Comfort and lemonade.
Volvic.
Well, I'm not refusing to drink it, but one of my customers is a cheapskate, and we'll go into it, so I get angry. So, what's going on?
Cool. Waldo,
Yes,
you got anything, or you just chilling, not drinking?
I'm a water boy through and through, so no devil's mouthwash for me, I'm afraid.
Devil's mouthwash.
Keith, then.
Speaking of water boy, I love that film.
Yeah, it is
just
great.
Throw your brain out of a window and sit down there and giggle.
What you got, Keith?
What have I got? Southern Comfort and lemonade tonight. I learned my lesson on drinking moonshine on the show last week because I was a little bit hammered by the end of it. I only had 3. So. Who knew? Moonshine is not great for you, guys. Lessons learned.
I'm on the Merlot. So I've got that on tonight. I'm just banning a couple of people as well because they've decided to spam. So we've had that happen. That's fine.
I was going to say, what's just happened on YouTube? Because
YouTube's gone mad.
Bobby Bread's just gone absolutely insane.
So we're going to address before we go into the introduction fully. Just want to address an elephant in the room in the comments already. Has Joe been sacked? No, yes. Joe is just a massive letdown.
He's busy with family life.
Yeah, family life's getting away. He will be back with us in the new year, we hope. We've also got Keith the Lightweight. Hobbit, hey Lenny, good to see you again.
Thanks,
do we get a free mince pie and beer for watching you numpties?
If you steal it from the shop, then yes.
Yes. Hang on. I think I've figured out what this paired thing is. You shared the link on your socials as well, didn't you, Waldo?
I did.
Okay, that explains that then. That must be what that is. We've now established what's going on with the channel.
That means when people are outlandish, I have to be responsible for it. Now I know who belongs to me and who doesn't.
So, we had carnage happening, so now we've got that all established. Okay, so back to the introduction. Just if you could just sort of say a little bit about yourself, Waldo. Just introduce yourself, where you started, etc., etc.
So I'm Waldo at a very not vain company called Waldo Customs, which is quite literally not only my actual first name, but also my dumb idiot face all over the company everywhere. It's sad to think that there are quite literally thousands of those stickers and patches in circulation, but I'm very grateful all the same to all the lovely idiots who wear them. And so I own a airsoft company, and we manufacture parts across in Asia and get them imported over here. Everything's designed in-house, all original OEM, nothing cloned or anything like that. And alongside that, I have like a cool YouTube channel where I do reviews and stuff. And I try to do my best to take it very relaxed, a very non-corporate approach to the manufacturing game.
Cool.
You do it very well, mate.
I do try.
Your Viper Tech video was great, by the way.
Yeah, I really love making that. That was a lot of fun.
Can I just point out, in the middle of his Viper Tech video, just to make sure people didn't tune out while they were talking about the magazines, he had his friend, who's an OnlyFans model, in the bath talking through the construction of the mag, which was just superb piece of cinema to pop in there to make sure airsofters didn't tune out.
Yeah, she was great.
Adam being very observant in the chat as well. Yes, there is a cat running around. Yes, he is a kitten, and he is an absolute pest. So if I disappear in the stream, you know why. It's because he's being a little shit.
Groovy.
Okay, so on with the newsy side of it. There's some things that have been brought to our attention
The news.
since the last time. So Thomas, who was on the last episode, he's actually been in touch with a few things that we missed on the MOA stuff that was coming out. So the first one we've got here is the Artric B&T USWG G17 kit. This is for Elite Force pistols. I'll just share the screen. You can tell it's been a couple of weeks. So we'll just share that.
Can you blow that up, Andy? That is tiny.
I'm just looking for the button now. I will zoom in as well.
So
yeah,
that's almost USW like. That is a USW.
Yeah, it's just what it is. It's a conversion kit to make it look like a USW for Elite Force licensed block replicas. I can't remember who. Elite Force are basically the same as
VFC.
Like a brand over here. It's VFC. Yeah, I was trying to remember. So yeah, that's coming out.
That is a monstrosity, says Adam.
Yeah.
Well, ASG had one already made, didn't they? And that's done reasonably well.
Yeah, this is obviously being focused more towards the people that may already have a VFC license Glock and don't want to get another pistol.
Yeah, cause was the ASG one done off a Shadow or something? If I remember right.
I think it was actually
it's
a fully
its
built
own
USW.
thing.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was its own concept and its own build.
Yeah, It's interesting. I mean, any new stuff for people to just fettle with is always good, isn't it?
It's inspired sort of temporarily off the Flux Brace kits, which are real kits for the P320s and the Glock stuff, and they're going around the hype beast communities at the minute. So I think everybody's trying to jump on that bandwagon whilst it's hot.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, there's loads and loads of these carbine versions coming out at the moment. So it's interesting to see yet another one come out, but they're trying to base it off of something that's already established on the market at the end of the day. We'll see. I don't know how well that'll go. It'll be interesting to see how that one goes.
It's not something I don't think I'd ever use something like that myself. I can see the use, I can see the purpose. But I'm not a big pistol for a primary kind of person unless I'm playing really tight CQB games and things like that. And if I was using something like that, I don't think I'd ever use the stock, if I'm being honest. It's like when I owned the MP9, very rarely used the stock on that. I just put it on a 1 point and pushed out. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's cool.
This is a valid point. I don't understand why people try and make pistols into SMGs.
Waldo could probably chime in on this one because he had a really good carbine version on his AAP, didn't you? If I remember right.
I still do. It is a very cool bit of kit. But yeah, the AAP is sort of designed to be so modular that you can change it so much that it's almost barely recognizable as a pistol anymore. But that thing weighs probably 1.2 kilos. It's the ultimate lightweight, low weight, no drag type kit. It's pretty good. So I'm happy to see more of that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. The next one we have, still with Archwick and BNC, is wrong way.
Wrong way. Spoiler alert.
SPR 300 Pro spring bolt action rifle and the APC 9K gas blowback SMG.
So this is a fresh take because that already exists in the airsoft world anyway. The APC 9 Aries brought out a few variants of it.
I was going to say that was when everyone was masturbating over every single gun that came out on the original model.
Call of Duty, yeah.
Reboot, weren't it? Yeah.
That was it. And again, that's about as compact as you're ever going to get an SMG, isn't it? Let's face it. The size of the barrel on that is tiny. I mean, obviously people will buy that and then slap a big stupid suppressor on the front of it just for the tactical factor.
Yeah, you'll end up with that, and then you'll have the suppressor that runs to that sort of length above it.
Yeah, who's making the who's the OEM for the gas blowback?
That I couldn't
Pretty
find
sure
out.
it is Archwick. I'm pretty sure it's Artrick who are making it.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all
I don't know much about them.
but
I think Artrick do a lot of their own stuff. I think they have access to their own machining. They've made loads of cool stoves. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm a big fan of the real gun. And I'm sort of hoping, but it's probably not going to happen. The real one can use 9mm MP9 mags because the same company, B&T. And so I was sort of hoping the ASG MP9 would let it use the same magazines, but I don't think that will probably happen, which is a shame. But it would be super cool if it did.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've also got the Pro Spring Bolt Action Rifle.
This is interesting because it looks very much like the VSR. I can't remember the name of it. The new TM VSR that came out, and the
VSR Pro.
Yeah, and the TAC 41 brought out a very modular, slimline version as well, didn't they, recently?
Yes.
This seems to be falling straight in line with that. So these kind of futuristic, super compact snipers seem to be kind of pushing forwards into the mainstream right now.
I'm a big fan of them. I do like
Yeah.
them.
Well, they've got a great use. You don't necessarily need a silly long barrel. I mean, it helps with accuracy a little. But we saw it with people creating the super short. What were they? The strikers, the Aries strikers back in the day. But yeah, I like the look of it.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
do like
cool.
the look of it.
Yeah. There seems to be, I've noticed more and more people going for these sort of skeleton stocks on bolt action rifles.
Yeah, I think it's more of a scout role that people want to be taking these days because the full blown super long sniper rifles aren't necessary in what we do. I mean,
Exactly.
They serve some purpose to have a long barrel, but you can achieve similar results with a shorter one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we see all these super slimline AEGs that people are building, skeletonized bodies and things like that, just to kind of bring the weight down. And I think weight at the moment is very much in the forefront of people's minds.
Yeah, which is quite odd in my opinion. Sometimes I find it a bit unnecessary.
My main rifle at the moment, the TK-45, is the exact opposite. It's an absolute monster. It weighs a ton.
Yeah.
With everything on it, without a mag in it, weighs I think around 4.5, 5 kilos at the moment. Part of the reason why I'm getting rid of it because my shoulders are just knackered. But
it very much depends what you want out of it. If you want that weight, then you're gonna go for it. If not, then you'll get something that's just polymer bodied, very little weight to it. While we're still on this as well, by the way, there's also going to be an ACP9 series AG coming out.
No, the suppressed one with the ump stock. Yeah. That tickles me in the right places.
It's integrally suppressed version.
Oh yeah. It's something about integrally suppressed front ends that tickle me in the right way.
Yeah, it's not a ridiculously long suppressor to be adding to it at the end of the day. It's not like it's open
compact.
Yeah, it's fairly straightforward, and you're still going to be able to use that in those tight situations in your CQB environments and just get around corners nice and easily.
They make there's a real version that's and also a 5.56 variant, so there's a chance that Artrick will probably branch into that and expand their horizons a bit. But these are AEGs because the APC 9K is GBB, and so these are only AEGs, I'm afraid, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah. He's doing one. He's doing both for the sort of the extremely compact version, and just these ones, as you say, just these other two on the AEG side of it. It'll be interesting to see if he does in the future go down the GBB route with him. I guess it will depend on the popularity and what people want in the community at the end of the day, won't it? Okay, next one we have the Waldo Customs Spectre. Let's go. These are these. So thoughts on that initially?
I know what people's thoughts will be if they're used to replicas as such. This is not that. This is not a replica. This is a custom built chassis. But this is for, I don't know. What are people's initial thoughts first before we dig into it a little bit?
It's certainly different.
I'm happy to see innovation. This is also like really cool because it's very specifically built for something. And it reminds me a lot. Keltec make a gun called a P50, I think, which is a pistol that's designed to be used braced into your face, so a real firearm. And it's quite nice to see that imitated in airsoft. Not that you need it with this, because no recoil on this, but I've been looking at these kits, and considering what you get with it, I think it comes with the engine as well. Actually, no, it doesn't come with the engine.
You can order it with the engine, I think.
That was it. Yeah, it's still very nifty. I really like how compact it is. It's absolutely tiny. And I think it takes ARP9 mags, which is pretty cool. Something that's plenty of.
I mean, we know speedsofters, they look for the ability to get as many rounds downfield as possible in a short amount of time. They want light, compact things that they can maneuver around themselves because they've got various kind of poses and you know, I wouldn't say poses, sorry. I mean, you know, when they're aiming, the maneuvers are slightly different to what you'd use in a standard airsoft game. And the closer to the face they can get it, the better, because it's essentially paintball without the paintball. Is probably the best way to put it. And this has been purpose built for function over everything else. Because let's face it, that's not aesthetically pleasing in any way. I don't think. It's a tube on top of Lego from.
It looks like a glue gun, doesn't it?
It does. But for what they use it for, obviously they don't need to shoulder this. They just need it up close to the mask. They can put the sight on top of it, and it. If you're using that, you're unlikely to be chicken winging because of the build of it. It's all going to be here. So whereas other rifles that they use, they'll be trying to shoulder it, or they'll have it over the shoulders. So there's that almost kind of forced chicken winging happening, which can affect them in competition. Because with these guys, with the amount of rounds they put down, if you stick 2 inches of elbow around the corner, it will be caught. Whereas this allows you to keep as compact in as possible without exposing too much. So function-wise, it's perfect. And also, it's built purely to be put around a Polestar engine. And with Polestars previously, you're going to have the FCU either in the stock or in the pistol grip or wherever you want to house it. This gives you a little window that you can access it openly. It's built purely for a function, and I think in terms of innovation, like Waldo said, this is a step forward for Speedsoft. Because we've all seen the ARP9s with the drop stocks, or the CO2 cans coming out of the bottom of a pistol grip that people are using as kind of airsoft stroke paintball replicas. It's been weird in the past. This is new.
Yeah, it's nice to see. It's from a small group of people as well, which is cool.
Yeah. They've previously stuck to things like high cappers and stuff like that, and this is their first kind of foray into this realm, isn't it? If I remember rightly.
Cool stuff.
But that looks super, super lightweight, though. Like,
it will be.
I know that it's supposed to replicate a pistol or an extended version of a pistol, but yeah. So it's Polestar Jack or F2 compatible. Uses standard M4 hop and AEG barrels and rubbers. The alignment of the engine will be 100% guaranteed. Lightweight and solid MJF and carbon construction. So yeah, it's got everything you need. Tool-free battery change, hop, and FCU adjustment. No proprietary parts.
It looks like you could hold it and not realize you're actually holding it, and then when you start shooting, you're like, "Oh, the fuck, where did this come from?"
Yeah, and something like that with as little metal surroundings as possible. That's going to be super quiet. Like super quiet. So you're not going to be able to identify players on the move in a speed QB environment.
It'll be
people are using AEGs and things like that. You can identify movement via sound, whereas with this, it'll be as quiet as possible.
You've got a picture of the guy holding it.
Yeah, flip over the image, Andy.
Because it's not threaded, so there's no suppressor for the air to disperse into foam. So my concern would be that because you're on such a short barrel, you're probably going to have more air volume than you do barrel length, so you'll be producing more sound. So I have a sneaking suspicion this might be deafeningly loud.
You think?
I think so. You could, if you were to find, because right there he's got a tracer on it. I think there's no, I can't see threads on there to mount anything. If you had a suppressor, yeah, it'd help. But because the body's so short, you're probably only going to be running like 150 mil length barrel, and to get the air volume down that low and to keep it reliably feeding will be tricky without creating quite a bit of sound.
Yeah, so compatibility here, AEG in a barrel for Sunken Exotech 30 Mark II, tracer 128 mil to 147 mil in a barrel.
Tiny.
And there is a 14 millimeter thread.
Oh, okay.
So you could attach a suppressor as opposed to a tracer, or one that combines the two.
Yeah, that would be the play.
So yeah, it's got potential to have some form of sound dampening. But yeah, should be interesting to see how this kind of spreads out in the competitions. That torch doesn't look very easy to manipulate, though. I'm gonna put that one up.
That is pretty close.
Interesting one.
Very interesting.
Would anyone here use it? Because I wouldn't.
I'd try it.
I'd give it a go.
It'd feel too awkward for me because I've got weird gorilla arms and I'd have to go.
Yeah. I quite like shouldering something, so it would probably not something I'd run consistently, but for competition, it doesn't really get much better. This is perfect for it's like the perfect gun for things like playing Snake. I don't know if you guys know much about like competitive speedball and stuff, but getting it to running into Snake and keeping low and keeping maneuverable, that would be sort of perfect for it, especially given how lightweight and tiny it is. Groovy.
Look forward to seeing more about that.
Yeah.
Right, next one. Oh, bear with me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Groovy. What are we looking at now?
I think I was trying something out. Obviously, it muted my microphone as well there.
We can hear you all right now anyway. So
yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I was just trying to resolve the issues with my microphone. Hopefully that carries on. Yeah, this is the Red Wolf Airsoft Bad AEG. This came out a couple of years ago, actually. Keith's been doing a little bit of looking into this, and this is actually going to lead us on to a discussion topic in a moment.
Yeah. So the initial releases of these came out in gas blowback versions, and they had this carbine version, and they had a very short CQB version that came out in gas blowback. And at the time when these came out, I think it was about 2.5, 3 years ago. The aesthetics of them were quite unique for a gas blowback rifle. But they've released AEG versions over the last 12 months. I think it was 12 months ago that we released the first version. I've kind of stumbled across this because I've been looking into what kind of AR style platform I want to look at next. And these have popped up, quite unique billet style receivers, very lightweight Fortis furniture. I do like a PDW stock. I find it more comfortable and functional personally than a full size stock. But they've put a lot of work into the internals on these. They've got a gate aster which has been custom built specifically for Red Wolf, and they come stock with a binary trigger, which I'm not a fan of. But I understand the use of those to get it's kind of a volume downfield thing more than anything. But I do like the look of these. I do like Fortis stuff. It's made to be lightweight, which I'm a fan of. And it does stand out a bit, I think, from most ARs. But keen to hear other people's opinions on this. I know this is probably going to be one of those polarizing things.
I mean, binary triggers we'll come on to in a minute. We'll leave that whole topic to the side for now. And then we'll come back to that momentarily. So just looking at the rifle alone, Like you said, the PDW stocks are a lot nicer, especially if you play a lot of CQB. They're nice to get up in your shoulder when you're manoeuvring around. I'd be interested to see what the length of that barrel and that rail is compared to the rest of the gun. Like actually looking at it in person, kind of thing. Once you had it in your hands to see, because the angle of the photo doesn't sort of give me any sort of scale.
Yeah, looking at that, I'd say 10.5 or 11.5 is probably the ballpark for it. I'm just pulling up the fact sheet.
I think this is one of the ugliest fucking things I've seen this year. So this is not something I would pay to be in the presence of. I don't like anything about this gun. I don't understand this recent fetishization of milled receivers and making holes in them, or just sort of giving up and making temporary holes in them. I think it's ugly as sin. And I don't think we're going to see very much of these because I bet they're going to be about £1 billion to buy.
$500 is the release price on these.
Fuck off.
So if we're talking about UK, we're probably we're going to be talking probably 500 quid.
No, not for me, I'm afraid. I'll gladly enjoy anything else on earth. This
is the thing. You're saying it's going to be about 500 quid, and like, don't get me wrong. I've got a Red Wolf Nighthawk Custom. It's a lovely gun. But I'm going to pay 500 quid for that. It's not my cup of tea for a start, and there's 1,000,001 other things I'd potentially buy before that. You know, you can get some decent gas blowbacks for that kind of money and spare mags.
I've seen prostitutes for less.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something we'll come back to in a minute. But yeah, it's like
love it.
For me personally, no. Craig, what's your thoughts? You're very quiet over there.
I mean, if someone handed it to me and said, try this, I'd try it. Whether I'd run it or not, I don't know.
It's one of those things. It's like to quote Top Gear years ago. If someone gave it to you, you'd love it. You'd defend it to the hills. But would I buy one with my own money? Personally, no. I'd rather save a little bit more and buy like a decent GHK gas blowback or something like that. Okay, yes, you're going to need a second mortgage to take out the mags, but at least you'd have the gun in your hand. So,
yeah, would be interesting.
Yeah, so this comes pre-installed with the Gate Aster, which a lot of people at the moment are saying is better than the Titan, which I find difficult to believe, but I'm always open to be proven wrong. And it's got all the usual stuff that you'd expect on any AR, but there's a lot of extended mag releases, bolt releases, and so on going on here, which can be a pro or con, I think. Do you need an extended bolt release on an AG? No.
No.
Not at all. Would you want an extended mag release on your AG? With things banging off your kit, an extended mag release on an AG, for me, sounds like a risk of ejecting one's mag while running or having something slung.
Let's be honest, we've all come across the airsofters that do that anyway.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference between user error and your rifle. I've got an example. I owned the WEP Virus SIG years ago. The silver on black two-tone thing attracted me. I liked it. I got it, and I dumped my mag on the floor so many times by accident. Mostly, again, user error, likely, yeah. But was it made easier to create a user error through these extended accessories? Yes, I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd agree. Pre-ejection's an issue I've struggled with forever, so it's nice to see that people prefer something shorter.
I've heard if you just manage to hold back on your first pre-ejection, all the rest of the ejections can be delayed for a significant amount of time. We can work on that.
Sweet, I can stop taking my medication.
Lovely.
Oh.
I'm just going to bring up a comment again because I'm not sure if he was being a troll and he thinks we're discussing something completely different to what he thinks here.
So
just
glad to
have a
hear
read
they're
of it.
so against the binary. Really cool to hear so much support for the non-binary and community in airsoft.
Smelling a friend of mine. She's a good gal.
Okay,
But
fair enough. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here seeing that come up, and I'm like, is this someone sort of thinking we're talking about something completely different here and going like full Piers Morgan on us? Or
I'm going to hold back off commenting on this one. Just to the yeah.
right, we're going to go into now.
Get on to the next subject, quick, Andy.
Yeah, well, actually, it's binary triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was a discussion we started today between Joe and Keith started today in the group chat.
Was it a discussion over? Did we just start arguing?
Yeah, off the back of the RWA bad. Basically, there's been a lot of sites banning the binary triggers on AEGs. I know of a couple off the top of my head. I believe South Coast CQB's done it.
Yeah, I know a fair few CQB places. So for those watchers who don't know what a binary trigger is, I suppose we best give a quick explanation.
Yeah.
Binary trigger creates a shot when you pull and a shot when you release. So whereas most sites would say, semi-only sites would classify semi as one BB leaving your barrel per trigger pull, binary trigger enables you to do two essentially, but it is controlled. So you can pull it back, hold it back, it'll fire a BB, and then when you release it, it'll fire another BB. So essentially, you do get two BBs per trigger pull, one on pull, one on release, but you can control it. And I know why some sites ban it, and that is because if you've pulled it and fired, and then you get a ceasefire, you have no choice but to release your trigger and fire another BB. Because even if you drop the mag, the BB's already loaded in there, ready to go. So you're unable to do that. And on some rifles, I'm aware that you can put it to safe and it won't fire. But still, the opportunity for negligent discharge off a binary trigger is much higher than on a normal trigger. So
Keith just mentioned pizza to go. I mean, for me personally, playing pretty much only CQB these days. Pretty rare I go to Woodland site, to be honest with you. Yeah, I can understand it being misused because, let's be honest, when people are in that CQB environment, there's rounds flying everywhere. People are trigger spamming to an extent. If you've got that extra BB coming out every time you release that trigger as well, it's just going to end up sounding full of water in a CQB site. You're going to get laced left, right, and centre. It's just open to abuse, and it's not for me personally.
Yeah, it's very much down to the player, but people can get carried away regardless of how controlled they are. Even the best of us can get carried away. So I've played at a specific site quite a lot recently, about 6 times in the last few months. And at every game, someone's been kicked from site for trigger spamming, and that's just on a normal trigger. So if they bought a rifle that came with a binary trigger as standard, then I can imagine how bad it would have been. I've got a 6-shot BB line across my stomach from the last game I played, from where I was walking back as a dead man to respawn, and I got lit up, even though my hand was in the air, just because the person who was firing wasn't doing, tap tap pause, which is a popular thing that's going around at the moment. They were just firing blindly at a corner, so if someone walks around, they'd walk into the BB. So there's a bit of pre-firing, which I know again is a polarizing term. But these people were quickly ejecto-seated from site by the management because of the state that they were putting people into. The marshals walking across doorways and taking like 6-7 shots to the face because they were just firing into a doorway, hoping that people walking past would get hit. And there's no opportunity for control at that. And binary triggers, some people will control them correctly, some people won't. Is it a risk worth taking? Some sites say no.
At the end of the day, my thing is, if the site said no to it, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I can't understand, and people will argue this as well. That's the thing. People will go to a site and go, well, "But why?" It's
That
a
reputation,
feature.
isn't it? And reputation's nothing but rumours and evidence, really.
Yeah.
So if a site's banned something, it's because they've had numerous occasions where they've had issues with that specific thing. I can't see a site banning something that they've never experienced before. They must have had several issues with the same thing to a point where they've gone, right, enough is enough. Sites that ban it without having any experience with a specific thing probably should see how their player base runs with it before you ban it. But there seems to be an increasing amount of sites that are saying no to this. But that being said, are they banning DSGs, which have got the opportunity to fire probably quicker than a binary trigger could in most setups? Waldo, you had a DSG at one point, didn't you? You know how fast a trigger can, a trigger can be pulled, I suppose.
For sure, but I think your average airsofter can't shoot very quickly on semi-auto. So, like a good SSG can shoot a BB every 11 milliseconds, but I think there are very, very few people out there who can pull a trigger that fast with their fingers, and those who can are busy pleasing their wives. They've got more stuff going on, so more important things to do than airsoft. But yeah, it's not really an issue I have, to be honest. If I had it my way, I'd have every gun that had a binary trigger out of factory. I think it's about time we took the curve and we all jumped on it a bit more, give everyone some thicker skin, and I think I have no personal issue with it, and I don't even run guns that allow for binary. Like, I'm a big GBB gamer, and so to make a GBB rifle that has binary, you sort of have to grug fuck it to be able to do that. But it's not something I've ever thought or worried about. I think it's no real different than trusting players with rifles that have higher FPS limits with dual output. You just sort of have to trust people. And there's bad people, but there's bad people who run bolt actions and shoot people in the face all day long. So I don't think there's any harm with giving people a little more freedom. Or at least
to reinforce your point, the site that disallowed this did allow Moscarts in CQB, and I took a Moscart launcher from a pistol launcher in the face at point blank range from this site. So
I think it's just common sense at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, or lack of, which is prevalent in our little community.
It's classic firearm, isn't it? That you can only walk as fast as your slowest walker, and if we cater to everybody at the bottom of society, we end up going nowhere. So I think it's more important to ban rude people than to ban the thing they're having fun with. I think if we kept with that way, we wouldn't even have airsoft. So I think there should be a level of tolerance, and maybe not go balls to the wall and say it's allowed everywhere all the time, but maybe be open-minded would be the way I would suggest.
Yeah. Seems to be a very divisive topic still.
It definitely is.
And it always will be, because this is airsoft.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we
do like a decisive topic.
Just on a side note, just before we move on to the main thing, this just in, we've had a link while we've been live from Joe, who's should be watching and tuning in and joining in, but he's not. It was a video released 8 hours ago on the Gate Enterprise Instagram page with the Titan 2 Bluetooth and magazine and bolt catch sensor with a single connector for the Titan 2. The video had a magazine capacity set to
Does this mean
MBs.
last round cut off, bolt release? I like that. That's good. I know there was a similar company that sent an example of their product to Negative Airsoft recently. Wasn't the Gate 2, it was someone else. And he tried to install it and it was shit. So I'm hoping Gate have got it right. Going off the previous products they've released, they probably have done.
Yeah.
But if that means we could convert almost any rifle, any AEG, into a last round cutoff,
Yeah.
I like that.
So,
Has
it
anyone
says,
else heard about this? This
I'm
is the
just reading
first.
it as this is. You can tell this is live because I'm literally reading this as we go. So, bolt catch button features realistic bolt catch function working with the magazine sensor. After reloading, you must press the bolt catch button to enable firing, just like in a real gun. Magazine BB can reset. The function works with a programmable magazine capacity limit.
That
The
exists in the
magazine
current
sensor
tapes.
features blocking shooting when the magazine is pulled out. Magazine BB can't reset. Function works with the programmable magazine capacity limit. So we'll go
Interesting
away.
development.
We'll have to have a little bit more of a look at that, and we can potentially revisit this one in the next episode when we've had a chance to sit down and go through the nitty gritty and find out a bit more. But it is interesting to see. That literally came in as we were talking, and I just thought I'd bring it up as well because it's interesting to see them going that way with the Titan adding that functionality, and if it does
Yeah.
what we think it does.
The current Titans have BB counter cut off.
Yeah.
So you can have a 120 round mag in your gun, and it will stop you firing every 30 rounds for 2 seconds or however long you specify.
Yeah.
Which sounds cool, but to be fair, I've done that by accident before now, and it's shocking. Wasn't a fan.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Anyway, bloody hell, we've done 40 minutes already.
Give us the main course, Andy.
Yeah.
I don't
Let's
know what's
go.
on this pizza, by the way. Fantastic.
So, Waldo Customs very kindly agreed to come on. You're telling us a little bit about your business. So, where did it all begin for you?
It began probably quite a few years ago. I used to just casually play airsoft in my spare time, and Tap Airsoft. I spoke to them about some of their drum mags and stuff back when I was really into Speedsoft, and they said they would like to sponsor me as their first European sponsor. So I was deeply honored, and so I worked with them for a bit, and then after being sponsored for a while, they actually asked me to help them with some product stuff. So I helped them with some of that, looked into and learned a lot about development there. And then after a while, I thought about making my own products. And so I distanced from them. And during the sort of big COVID lockdown, locked away in my bedroom, I founded my company. And that's why we are where we are now, all brewed from there.
So, did you have a background in engineering at all before you did this?
No.
You literally just started and ran in from the deep end as such.
No, I definitely had help along the way. I worked with a guy called Yappa. He's been very helpful. He has a background in ASG and Novrich, so he knows his stuff. And he handled the engineering side, but I really knew what people wanted. And that's sort of the thing that Waldo Customs is very good at, is that we really know what people want. And there's a lot of airsoft companies that I see that make stuff. And I really wonder what focus group they're talking to that makes them think anybody wants what they're producing. It feels like people are just... I understand making things because you like them, but it's very interesting just to see people make things that nobody seems to be asking for.
Yeah, one thing that I can kind of pipe up here is I'm in a lot of Discord servers, and I like to keep my ear to the ground and stuff like that. And Waldo is very much wrist deep in the community when it comes to the Discord side of things. I know you moderate a couple of pages, and you're very much involved. You have your own Discord server running. You are very open for criticism, suggestions, things like that. You are the people's airsoft company. Is probably a good way of putting it.
Yeah, do try to get the community, understand them and what they want.
The community's definitely followed you here tonight with the comments coming in already and the love for you.
Yeah, I'm very, very lucky and blessed to have such a nice community and group of people that I genuinely consider friends. So very, very lucky to have all of them. They're all very nice.
Yeah, so where did you sort of start then? What was sort of like the first thing you thought? Right, I need to do this because I want to make it better for the community.
I think there's a lack of transparency in airsoft sometimes. I think there can sometimes be a lack of accountability, and it can also be a bit like it's getting better now. COVID really helped, but for a while I felt like airsoft companies were just men in suits, and it felt very corporate. It didn't feel like there was any personal connection with anybody really. Novrich was sort of the closest you could get. And I think that became drier over time. And so I just wanted to be, I sort of wanted to be a person that sold products rather than a company that sold products. I wanted a brand that people could talk to and interact with and get on with rather than, just talking about them. And so that was something I just really, really wanted to do.
Yeah, because I sort of get where you're coming from with the airsoft companies being like people in suits. You just sort of tended to see them at the trade shows, and then it'd be like, okay, here's a Facebook post about another product they're releasing. And one thing I've noticed from some of your posts is how can I put this? They're not sort of the traditional sales posts, for want of a better term.
No, you guys don't know, but we have a lube advert in the making, and we hired this professional voice actor from the States to do a voiceover for it with our creative spin on it, and it is honestly the funniest thing I've ever listened to. So I'm really excited to get that out there and get filming that. Hopefully, get that out early next year. But sort of something we're good at is we stand out in marketing, and that's something I've always wanted. I want to be something you remember, even if it's not something you're interested in.
Well, I was going to say, normally you'd get like sort of like silicone oil for your replicas, and you're just like, no, buy my lube.
Yeah, I literally buy the lube.
Yeah.
There are sex jokes on the lube. Yeah. It even says on the bottle to not have sex with this lube because we can't promise the outcome of it. Yeah, it's yeah.
I'd like to chime in on that actually.
Oh yeah, not worth it.
No.
Thrush central, I imagine. Yeah.
Too slippy.
Oh, too slippy. God, can't feel anything. Wow.
Ended up in the dog.
Oh, no worries. I'll let the engineers know.
Oh God.
One thing I'd pipe up on the way that you run your company as well is some of the stuff you put a lot of time into social media wise and videos wise have fuck all to do with what you sell as well. Like the ViperTech video, you just wanted to make sure people who were putting $2,000 into a rifle knew what they were getting into. And it was an honest output because I'm not a big gas blowback fan. If I was going to go into it, I'd want to put serious money into making sure I get the best I could. And it seems like ViperTech's probably not that, really.
It's very much depends who you are. It depends what you want from a gun. And I think ViperTech is for a very, very niche group of people. And that is not most people.
Yeah. And how many... I'm not going to specify you as this, but how many influencers would say that publicly?
Yeah, and that's sort of another thing I want to really do is actually give like non-bias and try and spread like actual expectations. Like in like Counterpart, we did a review of the TM MP5, the NGRS, and I was pretty much entirely positive about that entire gun, like 95% of that review.
You have two now, don't you?
I bought a second one because I love the first one so much. And so, yeah, I do actually try to keep it very like what I actually think and not just try and butter stuff up. And
because you see a lot of companies who make specific things and they'll claim that they use nothing but these. So it is refreshing to see you coming out and saying, this is what I use. Here's my honest review on it, and so on and so forth.
And I get to work with OnlyFans models for it, which is also excellent. Yeah, so I love my job.
Why wouldn't you?
It's like you said though. You get the influencers. They'll get hold of something, and they'll be like, "Well, I want to give it a good review because at the end of the day, it's my business. I'm getting sent this. I want them to send me something else when it comes out, and you don't necessarily get that honest review. So to have someone actually saying, "No, I've got this. I've spent my own money on it. This is what I think of it." It's what we need more of in the community at the end of the day.
Yeah.
My favourite review of yours so far is your torch review, where you just went into the middle of an estate and just started to shine your torch into people's houses.
Oh, that was a pretty good. Yeah, that was. I got my mod light, which is a really, really, really bright, powerful torch, and yeah, was just walked into a car park close to my home. Did a quick 20-second review of turning it from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then went home.
Just potentially blinded children in the bedroom windows.
Not potentially. I hope so. You should teach them for being up so late.
Absolutely. You're doing a favour for parents around the world.
That's true. It's true.
Doing his part for the wider community, keeping communities safe.
Yeah, I'll charge them for it.
Just noticed that my gremlin of a partner has appeared in the chat.
I noticed.
Yeah.
Fuck them kids, apparently, Ed, Tyler. Just piped up. Fuck 'em. Yeah.
There you go, Keith. You say she's piped up in the chat.
Yeah, if you ever find yourself in Wardle at 4 o'clock in the morning, you see a tiny toddler stood in the window of a building that looks like a church, please take his eyesight.
No, I'll go for it. Wouldn't be the first time.
I'll teach the little fucker. Anyway.
So like, what sort of with this community and that, do you find that you maybe get a bit more repeat custom? People have a bit more loyalty to yourself rather than maybe other brands where they may just pick it up because it's at a site. People specifically find you as such.
We're very fortunate because we have lots of fingers and lots of pies in the way that we affect customers for the better. We get a lot of repeat custom because we attempt every month to bring out a new variation of our logo, and these are like collectibles. They're limited to the month, so people come back for them. So that gives us repeat custom. Another reason people come by is just because everything's quite affordable. Something I've really, really, really tried for was the brand was to either remain competitive or slightly undercut. And it's just less so because beating competitors, but more so giving people what I think they should, what I think is a fair price to pay. And I think some prices of things are maybe a bit too much. And so that's why we offer like bundle deals where if you buy X, Y, and Z, you save like 20-30%. And so that's something I'm really keen on keeping on top of. So a lot of people visit for that, which is cool.
It's awesome.
There is a likability factor to your products as well, not for the products themselves, but for you, because you're so involved in the community. I think people bond, I think is the best word, with you quite
Definitely. Well. It's very sweet. I'm genuine. It's been Waldo Customs is something I'm incredibly proud of. It's really my life achievement, but I am genuinely so grateful to have such a cool community and cool customer base and have so many amazing interactions. Like I went to different game days and I went to the National Airsoft Festival, and I'm getting recognized by people with smiles, and it is the sweetest thing. And it keeps me doing what I want to do.
Sam Ham said, "Stop stroking his ego. He's going to come all hyped up and batter me."
Yeah, that's
Speaking of achievements, you got the Lincolnite 30 under 30 awards for the business.
I did.
Climb that cupboard, Waldo, and show us what it's all about.
Oh, okay. Come on, get it. I have to put my rock climbing. See, now this is the classic thing.
You brought this up this time.
The best part is this is classic Zoom moment where I'm dressed for business up top, but I'm actually like wearing pajamas and socks and my lower hat.
I'm naked below the waist. It's fine. Crack on.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that.
It's going to make climbing that cupboard more difficult.
I mean, it is Christmas break now, so you can do whatever the fuck you want, really.
Yeah, my manager told me to sign off today at 12 o'clock, and I'm not back until Wednesday, so I'm very happy about that.
Cool. Yeah, I left at 12 and I'm not back till the 3rd, so I'm like, oh, screw it, chill for a week.
Okay. Go on, talk us through this.
I won this award for having a terrible name and making poor life choices. And it landed me with one of these. So yeah, that was quite cool.
There's hope for us all.
Aye. So, yeah, that was a very funny, interesting day getting nominated for that. I don't know who nominated me or why, but I had to go in the end, and I went with good company and had a good time. So it was
Yeah,
actually a good day.
it's easy to laugh
Like
these
that.
things off, but when it comes to it, this is, I suppose, one of those hallmark moments in your career of building Waldo Customs.
Mm.
You know, the fact that you can get recognised from these 30 under 30 awards and things like that. There's nothing to be
Yeah.
sniffed at. Because
Yeah, it was
when
cool.
you put it up, I was like, right, I'm just going to stalk him for a minute and find out what this is about.
Mm.
So I read up on the other people that won similar awards, and these are people going places. So props.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, it was interesting to meet like-minded people who were on different ventures and what they were all doing, and weird to be compared to them. Yeah, it was a weird time. I didn't really fit in very well, as you can imagine. People asking
Would you
what I
want
did.
to? That's a
What,
good question to ask when you say things like that. Would you want to fit in?
Oh, you sound like my therapist. Don't start.
Yeah.
I don't pay you enough for this.
Don't pay me at all. I'm happy to bring up these questions.
No, it was cool. I had a good time.
Sam beat all the most successful drug deals in Grimsby.
That's true. People don't know what I'm peddling. It's not just lube in those bottles. It's resin.
So you mentioned that you sort of launched the business back in the times of COVID, and that. How hard was it trying to launch something that focused on airsoft products during a time when no one could play airsoft?
Well, what we found was that the market was booming because people had nothing to do and they had money. Like, people are looking to spend, they're looking to build so that when they return, they have stuff done and ready and something big to look forward to. So we actually found that it did very well. I can't say who, but I went and visited some other airsoft companies and spoke to some other bosses. And one company in particular, who everybody in the world knows the name of, said it was the busiest they had ever been ever in their entire lifetime as a company. So it was clearly a situation shared by all companies that was actually a great time to sell products. So weird.
Sounds
Yeah.
I was about the only person not jumping on that trend then, Keith, because I was just getting drunk playing Call of Duty, chatting shit to you for.
You were. I spent a large amount of lockdown trying to keep you sane.
Yeah.
No comment.
Absolutely. But no, I suppose in times where the forefront of your business can't operate, the background of your business needs to thrive, and that is going to be your research and development side of things, isn't it?
Definitely.
So,
we work with very cool people,
mm,
which I'm also very grateful for. We're good friends with lots of airsoft companies, and I've got visits planned next year of people who I'm going to meet. I met AirTac the other day. I met AirTac at NAF. Lovely team, absolutely lovely people. I met James, and he's super down to earth, and it's nice to talk to someone who's really on the same level as you, and also is someone who started from nothing and then it all explodes all at once. So we come from very similar places. So he was a cool guy to meet.
Awesome. Was it your first year at NAF?
No, I'd been the year before. The year before was my first year. But yeah, this year was obviously almost like twice the amount of people. And it was a great time.
I was going to say they capped it this year, didn't they?
Yeah, it was busy.
3,000 players.
Yeah, well over, I think, and it was claustrophobic. But it was fun. The camping was definitely the highlight rather than playing.
yeah, the
That's what a lot of
social
people
element
say.
to these events can always be the highlight, isn't it?
Yes,
we've
very
brought
cool.
it up in previous podcasts, but stigma to the social element was. Don't get me wrong, the game day was brilliant. It's fantastic, but the social on the Friday and the Saturday was amazing.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Wait, at
thank you
NAF?
for your part in that, by the way, Waldo. Your sponsor of your prize was very
Oh,
welcome.
Oh no,
we
I was
appreciate
glad
that.
to. No, happy to. I'll be making the next one for sure.
Please do. It's worth it.
Yeah, no, I do want to.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, the social side of it is always better, especially like if you are trying to sort of sell a product. It's almost better. Like I'd say, if someone approached me and sort of said, "Look, this is what I make. Do you want to have a look at it? Do you want to see what it's like?" Rather than having to go to a stand, because with a stand, you're going to be mental all weekend.
Yeah,
Whereas if you could just take that time to walk around the campsite and go, "Look, try this. Let me know what you think. I'm over here if you want to." If you like it, you want to get some more. This is my card. If you do want to get involved, this is where you can find us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, some people do the stands well. Taig with Kydex Customs. I don't know how he manages to not lose his hair because that guy is just constantly busy and selling out.
He is such a lovely guy. I've met him before, but I met him properly at the last NAF, and I probably chatted to him for about an hour and a half. And super down to earth, really, really clever what he has and what he's built. And I genuinely say him and James Airtac, they're inspirations to have. They're people who have built teams and really like. I'm proud of what Waku has, but they really built companies. You know, they support people. They like have employees who work for them, and they have multiple of them, and they're reliable. And they're good eggs. They're really good.
We need to discuss this.
Yeah, I was actually there for that. So me and Sam are close friends in real life, and we brought a 40 mil grenade launcher to NAF, and we found one. We bought it, and Ellie, who's also in the chat, had butt plugs with her, and so we shoved the butt plugs in the grenade launcher and fired them out at each other, and it was like being shot with a beanbag round from like a non-lethal gun. I got shot in the stomach once, and I was like winded for like next 2 minutes. It was really good fun.
Well, you've convinced me to make the next one.
Oh, you've got to try, dude. It's so funny.
Watch now as someone tries to do this at an airsoft game as well.
Oh, we took it to the range. We went to see how far we could get it, and it only went about 10, 15 meters. But if you're within proximity of that, it might put a hole in you. It's pretty great.
Just buttering me up at this point.
I know. I'm getting sweaty.
And I
Speaking of the devil,
throw me into the deep end. This is I suppose before we step into the next topics, collaboration over competition. Because obviously you've done some work with Deadly Customs, which was another one of our sponsors at Stigma.
Yeah.
Alex, love the bloke.
Absolutely great.
He's amazing, and I know you've had some good work.
Yeah.
With those guys, your holsters, the weave holsters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very pretty.
They are very pretty. Works of art.
They kind of reminisce of the old Safariland police weaved.
That was the idea.
Yeah, was that the inspiration?
Yeah, so I have a
modern version of something that was very old and decrepit at this point. I wholeheartedly support.
We have a private focus group of about 20 airsofters who come from a range of backgrounds and countries and play styles. And so we asked them a bunch of questions on things they want to see. And so we mentioned holsters, and we said it's probably going to be a Kydex holster. It could be made of these materials. And we listed a bunch of materials with different patterns. And weave was by far the most voted for. So that's what we ended up going with. And yeah, I'm really glad we did. It is a very, very pretty looking thing.
It is. It's modern retro is the best description I could probably come up with it off the top of my head.
Definitely. It's got this level of sleek to it that I really like.
No, well done on that. Well done.
No, that was fun. Alex was great for it as well. I went all the way down and met him and watched how they made them and filmed some stuff there. And I still need to make that video. So that was a good time.
Yeah, I remember in the early days they released videos of the jigs that they had when they were kind of just flying out the corners of the Kydex holsters and things like that. And the work they put in is incredible.
Yeah, no, it is very cool.
And it's one of those things, just because you work alongside a company doesn't necessarily mean that you're using their products. This is something that you will have built specifically.
Yep. Definitely. I want to do that with more people. I really enjoy it, being able to work together on stuff like that.
Yeah, so moving on then, because we've sort of briefly gone into it a little bit as we've gone through, keeping on topic with yourself, but rebranding in airsoft. So we sort of mentioned about you said that you're the sort of designer, the OEM, and then like you have subbies that will make the parts for you to then sell on. But there's a lot of people out there who will rebrand something. I can think of, off the top of my head, a certain brand of BBs that was a rebrand recently, and then they've had a lot of stick for the quality issues that then came out of it, to the extent that people were avoiding warranties on their riffs that they'd worked on if they used these BBs.
Yeah, I'm going to pipe
Is it
in
that
on
sort
that
of
one.
thing?
Almost all BBs will be rebrands. It's as simple as that. It's not necessarily a rebrand. There is 3 companies in the entire world apparently that makes BBs. All of them are based in kind of Eastern Asia, and you can request what you want from them, and they will try and make it. So
I have spoken to them.
There you go. There you go.
I do know these people. It's tricky because it is and isn't rebranding. There's a lot of this that I think it's stuff people aren't aware of because there's no reason for them to know.
I think it's a misused term in airsoft. I think rebranding. I personally think it's a misused term.
I think a lot of people think that a company will manufacture something, they'll have their official logo on it, and then the people in the manufacturer will like scrape off the sticker and put on the sticker of a different company, and that is not what happens. And so BB's a great example. These companies, you just go to and you say, I want BB's X quantity of, and I want them of X quality, and they give you a quote. You say, I want this bottle. They package it up. They send it to you. It's so, yeah, sure, it comes from the same company, but they completely vary in quality, and the product might as well be utterly different. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, rebranding's a bad term for it.
Yeah, I work in a business area, food. That this is kind of the example is very good for. So we put out a tender for, we want this product, and we'll have a bunch of people come to us with versions of what we've required. We've put out the ingredient requirements, sugar requirements. We've said this is the flavor profile, this is the build, this is the texture we're kind of aiming for, things like that. And then we'll have a dozen companies come to us with examples of what they can do. And these are companies that might do exceedingly good cakes, for example, or other companies that make penguin biscuits or whatever. Does that product belong to them? No, they make it for us specifically, and we will sit down in a room and go over 30, 40, 50 different variants of this specific product until we get it right, and then we'll agree a volume with them over a specific amount of time, and they'll create that product for us. Does it taste like anything they create? No. Is it made in the same factory as a product that you can buy of their own? Yes. Does that make those two things the same? No. You know, and this is how it is in airsoft. Just because a company makes their own version of something doesn't mean that's all people are buying.
Yeah.
You know, which is why you'll have BBs which cost £16 for 3,000 and BBs which can cost you a fiver for 3,000.
Yeah.
And you know, it's one of those. It's a very, very misunderstood term, I think.
Definitely, and it applies across the board. It's not just BBs; it's across everything, and that is quickly lost on people, I think. But then again, they're not ones to necessarily know. You don't really know unless you're told. So, yeah, I think it's all right to slide now and then.
Yeah,
this is it. You get a lot of people that will comment on these sorts of things, but they don't necessarily know how the industry works in the background. Like, had I not been doing this and had I not spoken to people over the years, I wouldn't have known there was only 3 companies in the world that made the BBs, for example. And it's now more people know because they're watching this or listening to this if you're on the audio.
Well, this is the thing, but it doesn't mean that all BBs are equal. I mean, we all remember back in the day the 0-1 cubes that were sold. Just the worst BBs that you could have ever put through a rifle were 0-1 BBs back in the day. And you'd literally pull some of them out and they'd have like pockets in them or holes in the side. Some of them would look like golf balls. Some of them would be elongated, and those things would destroy your gun if you tried to run them. You know, and they've had about 5 or 6 different variants of these BBs over the years, and some of them people swear by, but some of them, if you're talking 6-7 years ago, people will never touch them again because those are the ones that were breaking everything.
Look at New Pro.
Version 1 versus
BBs,
version 2, until they became razors, they were unusable. And again, they were destroying people's guns. Does that make New Pro now a bad product? No, because if you buy razors now, they're decent. But if you look at the bottle and then look at other bottles that are available, you'll recognise that shape and size. You know?
Exactly.
Like BLS are prevalent in the airsoft community. BLS are probably the best BB manufacturer out there.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be corrected on that.
No, I think you're probably right on that.
Yeah, but if you're buying anything from a company that uses BLS to produce, then it's probably going to be a point of all your BBs will feed all the time, and you'll get pretty much consistent results.
You see it all the time in the Facebook groups and in the discussions elsewhere as well. People will always say if it's a BLS rebrand, go for it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you can track the manufacturer back to their OEM and it goes back to BLS, it's worth buying. It's as simple as that. I can't think of anyone that's used them that have ever really fallen down in the long run. But you just need to make sure that whatever you're doing in that area is consistent. So what you don't want to do is have a margin for your product, and it gets to a point where you've got to start saying, okay, we can let this side of the manufacturing process slip, and then your BB quality fails. Because the second someone starts to recognise that a product's consistency starts to drop, that's when they'll stop using it. People are very finicky.
That reputation as well.
Yeah, that's it. Reputation in airsoft is everything.
Yeah, we say about New Pro as the example. Even now, people say stay away from their BBs, and you're like, that was what?
They're decent. The
ago.
razors are decent.
Yeah.
I've used them myself. They've been fine.
Yeah.
I have had a rifle that didn't feed using razors, but it was one out of God knows how many rifles I've used over the years. Clarissa, all BBs matter. No, they don't. No, they don't. If you've ever used Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Funny you should mention them. I've got a bottle of them somewhere. I've packed them away for a lap.
Craig, you've probably still got the ones that you get off of the market, though, back in the day with the yellow seam around it, with the seam around it, yellow, like 0.12 gram.
Keep it. I can't find it.
They have a use. Mix 0.12 BBs with snapper caps in a Claymore mine for airsoft, and you're on for a winner.
Oh God, Keith's just telling us how to destroy everything. Sorry, hang on, I've just got a cat trying to destroy all the wires. I need to move him. Talk amongst yourselves.
Blackpool special BBs are elite. Don't even at me. Tactical waffles. He's lying.
He knows.
I haven't tried Blackpool once. Skeggy Market was my go-to.
I suppose if you chuck him into an LMG, anything goes, doesn't it? Because it doesn't matter. Adam, show us your pussy. Sierra Golf.
The conversation's getting a bit
it's got left on it.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So
basically, Adam and Clarissa's been sending me random facts for the entire podcast to try and throw me off and make me laugh. She's coming up with some shit, you know.
I believe it.
So just to wrap up then, what are we going to see from Waldo's coming up then?
At the minute, we're talking to a very, very, very cool company in Taiwan that I really like. And we've worked with them before on other things. And, well, sort of. But anyway, I'm hoping to work with them soon on an upcoming product. They're a very, very cool bunch. Lots of good machining capabilities. So working with them on some things. There's a lot of stuff in development at the minute. It's probably going to be early next year that stuff starts to get kicking out again. It's been quite a busy second half of this year. And so once we've cleared our heads, that'll be when we start kicking stuff out again. And that's what I'm looking forward to. There's lots of exciting things coming. more than just springs are coming, which is cool.
Cool. So watch this space then. It'll be interesting to see what happens and how you develop moving forward. But definitely one of the success stories in the SF community these days. I've been noticing just sort of sitting in the background. I mean, Keith will tell you that I'm one of these people that I have to sit there for a while and watch a company, and Craig will tell you as well. I have to see something good come out of them consistently for a while before I'll actually go, yeah, I'll go and try that now.
It's been 84 years, Andy. What's happening? No, I don't like it.
Shit, mate. Nah. Honestly, sort of seeing the positive feedback that's come out with all your products and that, it's like, yeah, this is a guy you can trust. And the community you've built up obviously speaks volumes about that as well.
Yeah, and it's the way you respond, obviously, to feedback as well. And I know we discussed this offline earlier with the AAP buffer kits.
Yeah,
I personally thought that was one of the better responses from a company that I've seen in many a year. In how you addressed that, took on the feedback about them breaking, improved the product, and then the replacement policy that you put in place to make sure people weren't hard done to was admirable.
Yeah, that was something I was very keen on.
Yeah. And although that would have been probably kind of, I don't know, war room style response, this is what we need to do. From a consumer point of view, the view on that from me personally was that you did the right thing by the players, which is massively important, and
for sure
maintains confidence in you as a company and your product. So yeah, the behavioural side of things you're very much getting right.
Yeah, that's something that's very core, and it's I've seen other companies not do the same, and I've also been, I've been victim to stuff of like buying something that wasn't as advertised and getting told to sort of cope. And I would be nice to finally be the change I want to see. And Sam just put in chat, Sam stayed with me for a week when the version 3 buff kit arrived, and we had to. The company didn't do it. So every buff kit comes with like a metal shim to prevent the spring piercing the buffers, and they didn't include them in each buff kit. And we had a couple thousand buff kits that me and Sam sat for 6 hours watching shite television, putting metal shims back into them. And so Sam is officially the first employee to have worked at Waku, but he was reimbursed with alcohol, not with pay. So, yeah, he's a good egg.
The best.
And as he says there, he still has flashbacks as well.
Oh, I still have flashbacks. Just sat on that pissing sofa, putting metal into bags and stuff. It was not very riveting, but he made it work. Yeah. Oh, that's true. I paid for his first tattoo. That's true. I think the next day after we went and got tattoos together. So I paid for that. That's true. Thank you, Sam.
Was it a Waku?
He got my face on his balls, so that was very kind of him. Yeah, it's not the first time it's happened either, so very cool.
Was it like a Waldo Pinocchio, whereas instead of every time he lied, every time he heard something he really liked, his nose got a lot bigger?
Well, it's actually his pubes make up my beard, so the less he shaves his balls, the more the face hair grows on the logo. It's great.
Perfect.
It sounds good, Dad. Yeah. But I mean, you're saying you repackage them all, like that's the attention to detail that you want from companies at the end of the day, not just sort of going, yeah, it's happened. Oh well, here you go. Oh, hang on, the bit's missing.
Yeah, no, it was important to change it. It was very important to me once we had realized what had happened. It was tactfully thought of, but my response was always going to be people were going to get what they had been promised, regardless of anything. So, yeah, that stayed key.
Happy days. That's what you want at the end of the day when you're doing shit. You don't want a company to wash your hands with something.
Definitely.
I mean, generally, airsofters will understand that occasionally things do go wrong with a product, any product. But it's how that company responds. You got to use some of your products, say, my goddamn cursed Tokyo Marui. There was nothing I could do about that. I just had to try and get it working and then sell it on because I was done with it at this point. Anyone who's followed the show for a while knows how long that was at the tech, and how much I got messed around as well, to the extent that as soon as I got it back, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
What we need to address is the fact that Andy seems to be cursed because it's not just TM.
Yeah. Well, obviously just use and abuse him a bit too much.
Properly running it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that's about it for this week, really. Thank you very much for coming on, Waldo.
That's all right.
Very much appreciated. It's been lovely talking to you. Where can people find you, get in touch with you, etc.?
Where can people find Waldo? Oh, it's a question as old as time. Instagram is the great place for it, at Waldo Customs. You can find us there. We have a website, waldocustoms.com. And we're also on Facebook as well, which is where I respond to a lot of questions. That's just Waldo Customs. You'll probably see me in different Discord groups, and I'm happy for people to say hello and swing by and stuff like that.
Cool. You mentioned AirTac. He's just popped by as well.
Hi, it's Johnny. He's a good lad. He's a good lad. I've seen his work. He's a good designer. I hear good legends about him.
Yeah, so yeah, make sure you go and check out Waldo's stuff, all his socials, check out his products, etc., etc. Keith, where can people find you?
Usually outside the house, sniffing about.
Good.
Cool. Other than that,
Instagram GT_01.kilo, I suppose.
Cool.
None of it matters.
But please
definitely
do not tag Keith in any giveaway posts or anything. Definitely do not do that. Craig, where can people find you?
In there, because I'm going to go make a cup of tea.
Sick. Other than that?
Not in this house for very long.
Oh.
Are you leaving? Are you moving?
Yes. Oh, we're moving to a flat.
Of your own?
Yeah.
Nice.
But Instagram, not that I really post much anyway. So,
yeah.
Soul Hunter Soft, if you bothered. I get bored with it sometimes.
Not anymore. You've given up on everything on there.
Yeah, giving up on everything, yeah. You were right.
Even the documentary. The long-running documentary series.
In time. Give it.
So that's it from us for this week and this year, in fact, guys. You can find me facebook.com/ChairSofterShow, Instagram @ChairSofterShow, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook for the live shows, wherever you get your podcasts if you're listening to the audio. And if you really want to, you can contact me, Andy, @thechairsoftershow.co.uk. Like I said, that's it for this week and this year. So thank you very much for coming back with us and joining us for the new show as we've relaunched over the last few weeks. And really all I think is left to say is have a very safe, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a Happy New Year. And we will see you guys in 2023 on the Chair Softer Show. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Don't be a dick, and we'll see you next year. Bye for now, guys.
Bye now.
Take care, y'all.